General Ta Jum Kim stood frozen on the bridge of his command ship. His hands gripped the rail so tight his knuckles turned white. On the main screen, blue beams of light cut through Earth's atmosphere. Each beam left fire and destruction in its wake. "General, we must retreat," said Captain Han beside him. "The Empire's ships have us surrounded. We can't win this fight." Ta Jum didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the screen. Somewhere down there, his wife Mina and daughter Sunhide were waiting for him to come home. He had promised them he would return after the peace talks. There were no peace talks. It had been a trick. 3 days ago, the Galactic Empire had sent a message. They wanted to discuss peace with Earth's leaders. As Earth's top military commander, Ta Jum was sent to represent humanity's defense forces. When he arrived at the meeting point, the Empire's massive ships were already moving toward Earth. "Sir, please," Captain Han's voice broke through his thoughts. "We have 30 seconds before their weapons lock onto us." Tai Jun blinked and turned to his crew. 20 faces looked back at him, waiting for orders. They were some of the last free humans in the galaxy. "Send emergency signals to all human colonies," he ordered. "Tell them Earth is under attack. Then jump to Emergency Point Delta." The ship shook as an Imperial blast hit their shields. "Sir, what about the defense fleet?" asked Han. Tai Jun looked back at the screen. Earth's small fleet fought bravely against the Imperial ships, but they were being destroyed one by one. "They're already lost," he said quietly. "We can't help them now." As the ship prepared to jump to safety, Tai Jun sent a personal message to his family's emergency beacon. 3 simple words: "I love you." The stars stretched into lines as the ship jumped away from Earth. Ta Jun's last view was of his home planet burning. 1 week later, Ta Jun sat alone in his quarters. Reports from across the galaxy confirmed what he already knew. Earth was gone. The Empire had not just attacked it, they had destroyed it completely. 7 billion lives ended in a single day. A soft knock came at his door. "Enter," he said. Captain Han stepped inside. His face was thin and tired. No one had slept much since the attack. "Sir, we've received a transmission from the Empire. They're broadcasting it everywhere." Tai Jun nodded and turned on his screen. The face of Executor Vrel, the Empire's supreme commander, appeared. His gray skin and 6 eyes marked him as one of the Empire's ruling species. "People of the galaxy," Vrel said, his voice cold and calm. "Today we have removed a threat to galactic peace. The humans of Earth were developing technologies and weapons that would have destabilized our order. Their aggressive nature made them dangerous. This action was necessary to protect all other peaceful species." Tai Jun's hand formed a fist. "Lies. Earth had only wanted to protect itself. Some humans may remain in distant colonies," Vrel continued. "We offer them peace if they surrender to Imperial control. Resistance will not be tolerated." The message ended. Tai Jun sat in silence for a long moment. "What are your orders, sir?" asked Han. Tai Jun stood up and walked to the small window. Somewhere out there were other human survivors. Colonies, outposts, ships that had escaped. The Empire thought they had broken humanity's spirit. They thought humans would now bow down in fear. They had made one fatal mistake. "Send a message to all human settlements we can reach," Ta Jun said. His voice was steady and cold. "Tell them their general calls them to war." "War, sir?" "Against the entire Empire." Tai Jun turned to face Han. His eyes burned with a fire that made the captain step back. "They took everything from us, Han. Our home, our families. Now we will take everything from them." Han straightened his back and saluted. "Yes, General." As Han left, Tai Jun looked at the small photo of Mina and Sunhai on his desk. He made them a silent promise. The Empire would pay for what they had done, and he would be the one to collect that debt. 5 years had passed since Earth was destroyed. The old moon mining base hummed with activity. Deep inside a crater, hidden from Imperial scanners, humans worked to build a new life. General Ta-Jun Kim walked through the main hall. People stopped to salute him as he passed. In their eyes, he saw the same thing, hope mixed with pain. Everyone here had lost someone when Earth died. "General, Major Jaiho is waiting for you in the command room," said a young soldier. Ta-Jun nodded and quickened his pace. When he entered the command room, he found Jaiho standing by a large map of the galaxy. "You have news?" Ta-Jun asked. Jaiho smiled. He was younger than Ta-Jun by 10 years, but the war had aged them both. "Our scouts found another human colony," Jaiho said, "hidden on a small planet in the Orient sector. About 300 people." Ta-Jun felt a small weight lift from his chest. "Are they safe?" "Yes. The Empire doesn't know about them. We've already sent a ship to bring them here. 300 more survivors. 5 years of searching the galaxy had brought 17,000 humans to their hidden base. It wasn't much compared to the billions lost, but each life mattered now." "There's more," Jaiho said. "Engineer Hannah thinks she's found a way to improve our ships." Ta-Jun followed Jaiho to the workshop area. The room was filled with parts from both human and Imperial ships. In the center stood Hannah Lee, her hands covered in grease as she worked on an engine. "General," she called when she saw him, "I think I've done it." Hannah was the smartest person Ta-Jun had ever met. Before the war, she had been a student. Now she was their best hope for creating weapons that could fight the Empire. "Show me," he said. Hannah pointed to the engine. "I've combined our technology with parts from Imperial ships. Their engines are faster, but ours are more stable. Together, they make something new." "How much faster will our ships be?" asked Ta-Jun. "Twice as fast, and the Empire won't expect it." Hannah's eyes shined with pride. "We can also mask our energy signature. They won't see us coming." Ta-Jun nodded slowly. "Get it ready for testing. If it works, we'll upgrade all our ships." As he turned to leave, alarms began to sound throughout the base. "Imperial ships," shouted a voice over the speakers. 3 patrol vessels entering the sector." Ta-Jun and Jaiho ran to the command center. The screen showed 3 Imperial ships moving toward a nearby planet. "They don't seem to be heading for us," said Jaiho. "But they're close. Too close." Ta-Jun studied the Imperial ships. They were small, just a patrol checking the sector. But even small Imperial ships carried powerful weapons. "They're heading for the supply route," said Captain Han. "If they find our transport ships." Ta-Jun made a quick decision. "Prepare the attack ships. We can't let them discover our supply line." "Attack?" Jaiho looked surprised. "We've never directly attacked Imperial ships before." "It's time we did," said Ta-Jun. "We can't hide forever." Within minutes, 5 human ships launched from the hidden base. Ta-Jun watched from the command center as they approached the Imperial patrol. "Remember," he said into the radio, "hit fast and hit hard. Don't give them time to call for help." The human ships moved quickly, using the new engines Hannah had developed. They surrounded the Imperial patrol before they were detected. The battle was short but fierce. 2 human ships were damaged, but all 3 Imperial vessels were destroyed. When the human ships returned, the pilots were greeted as heroes. For the first time, they had taken the fight to the Empire, and won. That night, Ta-Jun stood alone, looking at the stars through a small window. Their first victory was small, but it was just the beginning. "We're coming for you, Vril," he whispered to the distant stars. "We're coming for all of you." In a quiet corner of the galaxy, humanity had begun to fight back. The small alien looked nervous as he sat across from Ta-Jun. His blue skin was pale, and his 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "Your name is Tor?" asked Ta-Jun. The alien nodded. "Yes, I was a scientist for the Empire, but I left. What they did to Earth was wrong." Jaiho crossed his arms. "How do we know we can trust you?" "Because I bring you this." Tor placed a small device on the table. "Imperial ship plans. And something else, something important. Taijun picked up the device. If this alien was telling the truth, this could be valuable. If he was lying, it could be a trap. Why help us? Taijun asked. Tor's eyes dropped to the floor. My people were the first the Empire conquered, 500 years ago. We've been their servants ever since. What they did to Earth, they did to my world too. Hana took the device and connected it to their computer. Files appeared on the screen, detailed plans of Imperial ships and weapons. This is real, she said, her voice excited. These are current Imperial designs. Tor pointed to a specific part of an engine diagram. Look here, the faster-than-light drive. It uses a special crystal matrix. This is their weakness. The room grew quiet as Hana studied the plans. He's right, she finally said. The crystal matrix has a flaw. It's sensitive to certain sound waves, like our old sonar technology from Earth. Taijun leaned forward. What does that mean for us? It means, Hana said with a growing smile, we might be able to disable their ships without destroying them. We could stop their faster-than-light travel with sound. For the first time in 5 years, Taijun felt real hope. This could change everything. 2 days later, an Imperial prison transport moved through space near the edge of Empire territory. Inside, 50 prisoners from different worlds sat in silence. Guards walked the halls, weapons ready. In a special cell, heavily guarded, sat a single human. Da-hyun Choi had been a military tactician on Earth. The Empire had captured him during the attack and kept him alive to study human military thinking. Da-hyun heard a distant boom. The ship shook. The guards looked at each other in confusion. More explosions followed. The lights flickered and went out. Emergency lights came on, bathing everything in red. What's happening? Demanded one guard. A voice came over the ship's speakers, not an Imperial voice, but a human one. Imperial vessel, the voice said, your faster-than-light drive has been disabled. Your weapon systems are next. Surrender or be destroyed. The guards raised their weapons, looking for an enemy that wasn't there. More explosions rocked the ship. Suddenly, the door to the prison section burst open. Humans in battle armor rushed in, firing stun weapons. The guards fell quickly. A woman approached Da-hyun's cell. Her name tag read Captain Min. She smiled as she broke the lock. Tactician Da-hyun Choi, she asked. Da-hyun nodded, unable to believe what was happening. General Ta-Jun Kim sends his regards, she said. We've come to take you home. Home? Da-hyun asked. Earth is gone. We have a new home now, Min replied, and we need your help to protect it. Back at the moon base, Taijun paced the command center. The rescue mission was taking longer than planned. Any word? He asked Jai-ho. Nothing yet, sir. Just then, a signal appeared on their screens. It's them, Ji-ho shouted. Mission successful. They've rescued all the prisoners and are returning home. Cheers filled the command center. Taijun allowed himself a small smile. Hours later, when the ships landed, Taijun went to meet them. Da-hyun Choi walked down the ramp, thin and tired but alive. General Kim, Da-hyun saluted. I heard you're planning to take down the Empire. We are, said Taijun. With your help and what we've learned about their weakness, we're going to strike our first real blow. Da-hyun looked around at the base, at the humans working together with purpose. Tell me everything, he said. I've been thinking about Imperial weaknesses for 5 years. Taijun nodded. First, let's get you some real food. Then we plan our next move. As they walked, Taijun felt the pieces coming together. They had a weakness to exploit. They had one of Earth's best military minds back. And soon, they would show the Empire that humanity was far from defeated. Admiral Sung-Min Kang checked his weapons one last time. Today, humans would stop hiding and start fighting back. All ships report ready, Admiral, said his second-in-command. Sung-Min nodded. Tell them to remember their training. Today we make history. 25 human ships waited in the darkness of space near the Rigel system. Hidden behind a large gas cloud, they watched the Imperial outpost. 6 large Imperial warships guarded the station where supplies for a third of the Empire's fleet were stored. "Are the sound weapons ready?" Sung Min asked. "Yes, sir. Engineer Hannah says they're set to the exact frequency to disrupt the crystal matrix." Sung Min took a deep breath. General Ta Jun had trusted him with this mission. The first real attack against the Empire. They couldn't fail. "Begin the attack," he ordered. The human ships moved silently through space, approaching the Imperial vessels from behind. When they were in range, Sung Min gave the signal. "Activate sound weapons." Invisible waves shot through space, hitting the Imperial ships. On the screen, Sung Min could see the effect immediately. The Imperial ships' engines flickered and died. Their faster-than-light drives disabled. They were now trapped. "It worked," someone shouted. "Don't celebrate yet," Sung Min warned. "They still have weapons. All ships, attack pattern Delta." The human fleet broke into smaller groups, each targeting a different Imperial ship. What they lacked in size, they made up for in speed and surprise. The Empire had always relied on long-range energy weapons. They preferred to destroy enemies from a distance, but humans had always excelled at close combat. Now, that difference would be their advantage. Sung Min's ship dove toward the largest Imperial vessel. "Fire all weapons." The battle was fierce but quick. Without their faster-than-light drives, the Imperial ships couldn't coordinate or escape. One by one, they fell to the human attack. In just 40 minutes, it was over. The Imperial outpost and all 6 warships were captured. Not destroyed, captured. That was the key to Ta Jun's plan. "Secure the prisoners," Sung Min ordered, "and download all data from their computers." Human soldiers moved through the Imperial ships and station, taking control. The Imperial officers looked shocked. Many had never even seen a human before. They had been told humans were primitive, barely intelligent. Now these primitives had defeated them without losing a single ship. Later, Sung Min sent a message to all captured Imperial personnel. He stood tall, wearing his full admiral uniform, speaking clearly so translators could convey his words. "I am Admiral Sung Min Kang of the Human Defense Force. You are now prisoners of war. You will be treated fairly, which is more than the Empire did for Earth. We are not monsters, despite what you've been told." He paused, looking directly at the camera. "Take this message to your leaders. This is just the beginning. Humanity is not extinct. We are not defeated. And we are coming for those who destroyed our world." When news of the Rigel attack reached Imperial High Command, Executor Vrel called an emergency meeting. "How could this happen?" demanded one Imperial Lord. Humans were supposed to be finished. Vrel's 6 eyes narrowed as he watched the recording of Admiral Sung Min's message. "It seems we underestimated them," he said quietly. "A mistake we will not make again." "Should we send the main fleet?" asked another commander. "No," said Vrel. "Not yet. First, we need to understand how they disabled our ships, and we need to find their base." He turned to his intelligence officer. "Spread the word across the Empire. Any information on human locations will be rewarded, and prepare a message for all worlds." "What message, Executor?" "That humans are dangerous barbarians, that they attack without provocation, that the Empire will protect loyal citizens from these savages." Vrel looked again at Sung Min's face on the screen. Something about these humans bothered him. Their resilience, their determination even when facing impossible odds. For the first time in centuries, Executor Vrel felt something close to worry. Li Jin Ryu was not a soldier. Before the war, she had been a teacher. Now she stood before the leaders of the Centauri Alliance, 4 alien species who had lived under Imperial rule for centuries. "The Empire tells you they protect you," Yi Jin said, "but look at these records." She showed them the files Hannah had decoded from the Imperial archives. The aliens watched in silence as the screen displayed years of data. These show how much food and materials your world send to the Empire each year, Yi Jin explained. And this shows how little you get back. The tallest alien, named Kraz, leaned forward, his long neck bent to study the numbers. We knew they took much from us, he said slowly, but not this much. There's more, said Yi Jin. The Empire has been holding back technology from your worlds, technology that could help your people. She showed them plans for medical devices and farming tools that the Empire kept for themselves. The four leaders looked at each other. Yi Jin could see anger growing in their eyes. Why should we trust humans? Asked another alien named Vela. You are few. The Empire is vast. Because we found their weakness, Yi Jin replied. And together, we can be strong enough to fight. Back at the human base, Taijun faced problems of his own. Word had spread that the Empire was offering peace terms to any human colonies that surrendered. They promised safety and food. Said colony leader Jun, many of my people want to accept. Taijun looked around the meeting room. 5 colony leaders had come to discuss the imperial offer. Some looked ready to give up. The Empire destroyed Earth without warning, Taijun said. They killed billions of innocent people. Do you think they'll keep their promises now? We are tired of hiding, said another leader. Tired of being afraid. Taijun understood their fear. For 5 years, they had lived on the edge of survival. The Empire offers you a cage, he said quietly. It may be a comfortable cage, but it's still a cage. And what do you offer? Jun asked. More fighting. More death. Taijun walked to the center of the room. I offer you a future where humans stand tall again. Where we build our own world, not one the Empire allows us to have. He showed them pictures from the recent battle in the Rigel system. Imperial ships disabled by human technology. Human soldiers rescuing prisoners. For the first time, we're winning battles, he said. And we're not alone anymore. He told them about Yi Jin's mission to the Centauri Alliance, about other species joining their fight. The Empire thought they ended humanity when they destroyed Earth. Taijun said, his voice growing stronger. They were wrong. Humanity isn't a planet. It's not buildings or cities. It's us, our spirit, our will to survive. The room was silent when he finished speaking. Jun was the first to stand. My colony will stay with you, he said. We will fight. One by one, the other leaders stood as well. The vote was unanimous. No one would accept the Empire's false peace. That night, Taijun received a message from Yi Jin. The Centauri Alliance had agreed to join them. 4 worlds with millions of people, now part of the resistance. It's happening, Jaiho said when he heard the news. Just as you said it would. The Empire is starting to crumble. Taijun nodded, but his eyes were serious. The Empire will not fall easily. When they realize how much trouble we're causing, they'll come after us with everything they have. Are we ready for that? Asked Jaiho. Taijun looked at the star map, at the growing number of worlds that had joined their cause. Not yet, he said, but we will be. Across the galaxy, the seeds of rebellion were taking root. The Empire had ruled for 1,000 years through fear and division. Now, for the first time, the oppressed were uniting. And at the center of it all was a human general who had lost everything but his determination to see the Empire fall. Alarms blared throughout the mining moon base. Red lights flashed in every corridor. People ran to their stations, faces tight with fear. How did they find us? Jaiho shouted over the noise as he and Taijun raced to the command center. The abandoned ship, Hannah said as they entered. Her fingers flew over the computer controls. The one we found drifting last month. It had a hidden tracker. On the main screen, dozens of Imperial ships appeared. At the center was the largest vessel any of them had ever seen. The Emperor's Fist, flagship of Executor Vrel himself. They sent their best to finish us, Taijun said quietly. He turned to his officers. Begin evacuation. Get everyone to the backup base. What about our defenses? Asked Captain Han. They won't hold against that fleet, said Dahyun, studying the screen. We need to run. Outside, the first Imperial ships entered firing range. The base shook as blasts hit the outer shields. We have 30 minutes before the shields fail, said Hana. Taijun nodded. Then we have 30 minutes to evacuate. He turned to Jaiho. You lead the main group to the asteroid base. I'll take a team and create a diversion. That's too dangerous, Jaiho protested. It's our only chance, Taijun replied. Now go. That's an order. As Jaiho left to organize the evacuation, Taijun gathered a small team of volunteers. Their plan was simple but risky. Use the base's remaining fighters to draw Imperial attention, while the evacuation ships escaped. We'll meet you at the asteroid base, Taijun told Hana as she prepared to leave. She looked at him with worried eyes. You better. 20 minutes later, Taijun's shuttle launched from the base along with 5 fighter ships. Behind them, larger transport ships carrying most of the base personnel slipped away in the opposite direction. Imperial ships are following us, reported one of the pilots. The plan is working. Keep them busy as long as you can, Taijun ordered. Then jumped to the meeting point. The small human ships darted between asteroids, leading the Imperial vessels on a chase. For a while, it seemed to be working. Then a massive energy beam cut through space, hitting Taijun's shuttle directly. We're hit, shouted the pilot as warning lights filled the cockpit. Engines failing. The shuttle spun out of control, smoke filling the cabin. Taijun strapped himself in as the ship crashed into a small moon. The impact knocked him unconscious. When he woke, he was being dragged from the wreckage. Through blurry eyes, he saw Imperial soldiers in their black armor. Behind them stood a tall figure with gray skin and 6 eyes. General Taijun Kim, said Executor Vrel, his voice cold and precise. At last we meet. On the other side of the system, Jaiho watched the evacuation ships arrive at the asteroid base. As each ship landed and unloaded its passengers, he checked names off his list. Any word from the general? He asked when Hana approached. She shook her head. His shuttle's tracker went dead. The other fighters made it to the meeting point, but he wasn't there. Jaiho's face hardened. Keep trying to contact him. Hours passed with no signal. The surviving fighters returned, bringing grim news. They had seen the general's shuttle hit by Imperial fire, crashing on a small moon. No survivors had been detected. That night, Jaiho called a meeting of all senior staff. Until we know for certain what happened to General Kim, I will assume command, he announced. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled slightly. Our mission remains the same. We fight the Empire. After the meeting, Hana found Jaiho alone in the command room, staring at star maps. Do you think he's alive? She asked. Jaiho didn't answer right away. Finally, he said, if anyone could survive that crash, it's Taijun. And if the Empire has him. Jaiho's face darkened. Then may the stars help them. Because they have no idea what they've just taken. In a cell aboard the Emperor's Fist, Taijun opened his eyes. His body ached from the crash, but his mind was clear. He took in his surroundings. A small room with 1 door and no windows. The door slid open. Executor Vrel stepped inside. I've waited a long time to meet the human who has caused so much trouble, Vrel said. Taijun looked up at his enemy, the one who had ordered Earth's destruction. The trouble, Taijun said slowly, has only just begun. For 14 days, Taijun sat in his cell on the Imperial flagship. Each day, Executor Vrel came to question him. Each day, Taijun watched and listened more than he spoke. Your resistance is finished, Vrel said during his latest visit. Tell us where the remaining humans are hiding. Taijun looked at Vrel with calm eyes. Why destroy Earth? He asked instead of answering. We were no threat to you. Vrel's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. You were growing too quickly. Our predictions showed that within 50 years, humans would challenge imperial rule. So you killed billions because of what might happen. We protected the galaxy, Vrel said, but Tajun noticed something interesting. Vrel's lower eyes twitched slightly. He was lying. Over the days that followed, Tajun began to piece together the truth. The Empire wasn't as united as it seemed. When Imperial officers brought him food or took him for questioning, he listened to their conversations. He noticed the tension between officers from different species. He saw how they competed for Vrel's approval. The Empire was fracturing from within. On the 15th day, a new guard came to Tajun's cell. This alien was smaller than the others, with green skin and large eyes. "My name is Lom," the guard whispered. "My people were conquered by the Empire 300 years ago. We serve, but we do not forget." Tajun studied the guard carefully. "What do you want?" "To help you escape," Lom said. "Many of us have heard about the human resistance, about species working together as equals. We want that future too." At the asteroid base, Jiho and the others worked tirelessly. Hannah had completed a new weapon system that could amplify their sound technology. "It can disable multiple Imperial ships at once," she explained to Jiho. "But we need to get close to use it." "We need the general," said Dahyun. "He would know how to use this weapon best." Jiho nodded. "The rescue teams are searching, but there's no sign of him. The Empire has hidden him well." Just then, an alarm sounded. A ship was approaching. A small Imperial shuttle. "Prepare defenses," Jiho ordered. But before they could fire, a message came through. "Don't shoot. It's me, Tajun Kim." Minutes later, Tajun walked into the command center. His face was thin, and his uniform was torn, but his eyes burned with the same determination. The room erupted in cheers. Jiho rushed forward to embrace his friend. "How did you escape?" he asked. "I had help," Tajun said, gesturing to Lom, who stood nervously behind him. "And I learned something important. The Empire is not as strong as we thought." Later, Tajun gathered the resistance leaders. On a large screen, he showed what he had learned while in captivity. "The Empire isn't one united force," he explained. "It's 5 major factions that barely trust each other. They compete for power and resources." He pointed to different star systems on the map. "These are their key command centers. They don't share information well. If we hit them all at once, they won't be able to coordinate their response." "How can we attack so many places?" asked Captain Han. "We don't have enough ships." "We do now," said Yi-Jin, stepping forward. "The Centauri Alliance has contributed 300 vessels, and Lom's people have promised to disable security at these 2 stations." Tajun looked at Hana. "Is your new weapon ready?" She nodded. "It can disable all Imperial ships within half a system." "Then it's time," said Tajun. "No more hiding. No more small victories. We're going to strike at the heart of Imperial power." The room was quiet as everyone realized what he was suggesting. This would be all-out war. "The Empire thinks they know humans," Tajun continued. "They study our history, our wars, our weaknesses. But they missed something important." "What's that?" asked Jiho. "When everything is taken from us," Tajun said, "when we have nothing left to lose, that's when humans are most dangerous." Around the room, people nodded. After years of running and hiding, they were ready to fight. "Prepare all ships," Tajun ordered. "We launch in 3 days." As the meeting ended, Dahyun approached Tajun. "The Empire will expect us to attack 1 target," he said. "Not 5 at once." Tajun smiled grimly. "Exactly. Their fatal mistake was thinking they understood us. They don't." The final battle was about to begin. Tajun stood on the bridge of his command ship, watching as the largest fleet ever gathered against the Empire prepared for battle. Over 500 ships from 6 different species filled the space around him. Each ship had a simple mark painted on its hull, a blue and green circle, the memory of Earth. All ships report ready, said Jio. Taijun nodded. Begin the attack. The rebel fleet split into 5 groups, each heading for a different Imperial command center. Taijun led the largest group toward the heart of the Empire, the capital system where Executor Vrel would be waiting. Remember, Taijun said over the communication system to all ships, we strike fast and together. The Empire has never faced a united enemy before. The fleet jumped to faster-than-light speed, racing across the stars. In the Imperial capital, Executor Vrel received the first warning signal. Rebel ships attacking in the Orient sector, reported an officer. Before Vrel could respond, more reports came in. Attack in the Cygnus sector. Rebel ships in Taurus. Andromeda Command Center under attack. Vrel's 6 eyes widened. They're attacking everywhere at once. For the first time, the Executor felt something close to fear. Dahyun led the Special Forces team toward the main Imperial communication station. Their small ship had slipped past the outer defenses thanks to codes provided by Lum's people. Remember, Dahyun told his team, we need to hold the station for 30 minutes while the virus uploads. Then we can go. They docked at the station and moved quickly through the corridors, stunning Imperial guards as they went. When they reached the main control room, they were met with resistance. A fierce firefight broke out. Cover me, Dahyun shouted as he ran toward the main computer. Blaster fire filled the air around him, but he made it to the terminal. With quick fingers, he plugged in the device Hannah had created. Virus uploading, he reported into his radio. 29 minutes remaining. Across 7 star systems, the battle raged. Imperial ships responded to the attack, but they were confused by the multiple invasion points. Without their central communication system, they couldn't coordinate effectively. Hannah's sound weapon proved devastatingly effective. Entire groups of Imperial ships drifted helplessly in space, their faster-than-light drives disabled. But the Empire still had numbers on their side. Human and Allied ships fell to Imperial weapons. The cost was high on both sides. Taijun's fleet pushed toward the Imperial capital world. 3 massive defense stations blocked their path. We need to take out those stations, Taijun told his pilots. Focus all fire on the first one. The rebel ships concentrated their attack. Explosions ripped through the station's hull. Finally, it broke apart. 1 down, said Jio. 2 to go. As they began firing on the second station, a massive Imperial warship appeared. The Emperor's fist had arrived. Executor Vrel, Taijun said quietly. This was the moment he had waited for since Earth fell. He's hailing us, said Jio. Taijun nodded. Put him through. Vrel's face appeared on the screen. This rebellion ends today, General Kim. You cannot win against the full might of the Empire. Look around you, Vrel, Taijun replied. Your empire is already falling. Vrel's eyes narrowed. Then I will at least have the satisfaction of destroying you personally. The Emperor's fist moved forward, weapons charged. Taijun's ship turned to meet it. All ships, continue the attack on the defense stations, Taijun ordered. We'll handle Vrel. The 2 flagships closed on each other, firing with everything they had. Taijun's ship shook under the assault. Shields failing, reported Captain Han. We can't take much more. Get us alongside them, Taijun ordered. Prepare boarding teams. His plan was bold, too bold, some might say. But Taijun knew this had to end face to face. He strapped on his combat armor and checked his weapon. Sir, Jio said, you can't go yourself. I have to, Taijun replied. This started with Vrel and me. It ends the same way. As the ships came together, Taijun led the boarding party onto the Emperor's fist. The final confrontation was about to begin. Alarms blared throughout the Emperor's fist as Taijun and his team fought their way toward the command center. Imperial soldiers fell before them, but the humans took losses too. By the time they reached the main corridor leading to Vrel's command room, only Taijun and 3 others remained. You three hold this position, Taijun ordered. No one follows me in. Sir, said one soldier, you can't face him alone. Taijun checked his weapon. This is between him and me. It always has been. The doors to the command center slid open. Taijun stepped inside, weapon raised. Imperial officers turned in surprise, but a sharp command from Vrel stopped them from firing. Leave us, Vrel ordered his crew. When they hesitated, he shouted, Now. The officers hurried out, leaving Taijun and Vrel alone amid the blinking lights of the command terminals. Through the large windows, the battle raged across space, ships exploding, weapons firing, the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. I knew you would come, said Vrel. He held a long energy staff, the traditional weapon of his species. You humans are so predictable in your desire for personal revenge. This isn't just about revenge, Taijun replied. It's about justice. For Earth, for all the worlds you've crushed under your rule. Vrel moved forward, his tall form towering over Taijun. The Empire brings order. Without us, the galaxy would fall into chaos. Countless more would die. That's not your choice to make, said Taijun. Every species deserves to find its own path, even if that path leads to destruction. Vrel's staff hummed with energy. Even then. Vrel struck first, his staff cutting through the air. Taijun dodged, firing his weapon. The shot hit Vrel's shoulder, but the executor barely flinched. They fought across the command center, knocking over chairs and equipment. Vrel was stronger, but Taijun was quicker. For every blow Vrel landed, Taijun struck back twice. Finally, Taijun saw his chance. As Vrel lunged forward, Taijun stepped aside and struck the executor's legs. Vrel fell to his knees, his staff clattering away. Taijun stood over him, weapon pointed at Vrel's head. This was the moment he had dreamed of for years. The chance to kill the being who had ordered Earth's destruction. Do it, said Vrel. Complete your revenge. Taijun's finger tightened on the trigger. He thought of Mina and Sunhai, of Earth burning, of all he had lost. But then he thought of what he was fighting for. Not just vengeance, but a better galaxy. One where power didn't come from fear or destruction. Slowly, Taijun lowered his weapon. No, he said. You will live to see your empire fall. That is a better justice. 3 months later, Taijun stood in a great hall on what had once been the imperial capital world. Representatives from dozens of species filled the room, former enemies now working together. The war had ended weeks ago, when the last imperial faction surrendered. The Emperor's fist now orbited the planet as a museum, a reminder of the past that no one wanted to repeat. The council is ready for you, General, said Yijin. Taijun nodded and followed her into the chamber where the new Galactic Council waited. 50 leaders from 50 worlds, including humans, sat in a circle. There was no high seat, no throne. All were equal here. General Kim, said the council speaker, we offer you leadership of the new Galactic Alliance. Will you accept? Taijun shook his head. I am a soldier, not a politician, but I will serve as commander of our joint defense forces to ensure no single power ever threatens all of us again. The council accepted his decision with respect. As the meeting ended, Jiho approached Taijun. The new colony on Mars is ready, he said. They've built a memorial for Earth. People are asking if you'll come for the opening. Taijun had avoided Mars until now. It was too close to where Earth had been, too painful a reminder. Yes, he said finally. It's time. The memorial stood on a hill overlooking the first human city on Mars, a simple stone circle with water flowing through channels that formed the continents of Earth. Names were engraved along the rim, billions of names that would never be forgotten. Taijun placed 2 small items in the water, a ring that had belonged to Mina and a small toy that Sunhai had loved. We did it, he whispered. We're free. As he stood there, a group of children ran past, human children playing with young aliens from 3 different worlds. They laughed together, without fear or hatred. In the sky above, ships prepared to launch. Exploration vessels carrying humans and aliens together into the unknown. Not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals, as friends. The Empire had made one fatal mistake. They thought destroying Earth would end humanity's story. Instead, it had only started a new chapter.